Hey guys, good to be back with you once more. And here's a little interesting thing that just came up here in the save. So, inadvertently, when I was hiring a whole bunch of young players out, I made, I guess, a promise or two about loaning players out. I mean, whatever. I just hired a whole bunch of guys and didn't pay much attention to what I was telling them. Well, it turns out that you don't need too much to make players feel okay about you not loaning them out, right? Afa Isu, who's only 18 years old, has now appeared, I believe, in 2 matches. So he played that entire match against Black Roses, got a 6.4. He also played against half of the match against Tafuna Jets, which is the one that we lost at a 6.3 rating. That was pretty poor. And it turns out that he's happy with the amount of playing time that he's had, and he's no longer upset with it, which is really crazy. I mean, he's had 2 appearances, 1 start, and was on 1 other time. And I guess he's really happy with that. I don't know. I mean, so we'll look at happiness. Agreed playing time youngster, so he doesn't really expect to play that much anyway, right? He's a good player, right? He's just off at first team level, right? But he has definitely the potential to do it. He's balanced, which isn't exactly great, but, at this level, I mean, we'll take what we can get. And he can play a couple of positions, which is pretty good, and has a whole bunch of good stuff there going for him. But apparently all it took was 1 start. Once we gave him 1 start, then he's like, all right, I'm fine. I'm not upset about things anymore. If you're interested in where all this stuff is located, you can find your promises somewhere in here. Let's see if we can figure out where they are. Might be over in the famous home screen. I think that's where it actually is. It's going to take a little while for this to open up because of all the crazy stuff that we have going on in the save and because of however it is that this game is created, which of course reminds me, if you haven't seen it before, go back out and check out that Sports Interactive announcement from a couple of weeks ago because not FM24, but in FM25, a lot of these problems are probably going to finally be solved, and we're probably going to have an engine that works a little bit faster and that is better programmed and that's redone from the ground up. Now, fingers crossed, of course. Remember, this is Sports Interactive, right? They'll promise you the moon, and then they'll give you a really crappy squad planner to go along with it. So it might not quite be as good as we were once hoping. But hopefully, once we have these updates through, a lot of these crazy pauses and delays and stuff will finally start going away, I hope. And so we'll see what we can do here. Another thing to note here while we're waiting is that we have moved up to second place. We're right behind Ilawa and Toamata, who have a game on us, unfortunately, but they also drew their last match, which is the first time in quite some time since last season that they didn't just win, which I think is another really good sign for us because we want them to... here we go. This is what happens. I didn't even click on it. It was a really good sign there for us because we want them to start losing a few matches here, especially at the beginning of the season. Now, there are things that we can do to disrupt them, and the biggest of them, as I learned last season, is since the end of the season comes after the transfer window opens, all you have to do is woo a couple of their good players away and then watch as the AI doesn't know what to do because they lost their star players before the end of the season, and then watch them lose their last 3 or 4 matches. As long as you don't lose like we did last year, you should be in a good position. So anyway, we'll see what ends up happening here in the end. And hopefully we'll have a little bit better story. The thing I really worry about is that I haven't been able to see yet whether the problem we saw last season in the Oceania Champions League actually is an issue with the save and all, or if that was just a first season thing, right? We're not going to be able to see that until we get back to the Champions League. At this rate, who knows what's going to happen? So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll have to end up looking into this together. If it does turn out that the Champions League here is just totally busted, then I'm going to have to figure out some other thing to do. But my suspicion is that was just simply a first season thing and that there's something weird going on. Here's your confirmation. We have 17 points, and look, Iloata and Tomata also have 8 games played now, and it looks like they tied again with Utule, so they are only 3 points ahead of us, which is very, very good for us. And here it is. Promise is what we're looking. So Isu dropped his expectation. The only one left is Gabriel Kaleopa, who is not going to get loaned out. He's going to wind up upset with me, but there's just no way we're going to loan him out. He's got a poor personality anyway, and is probably not going to end up starting for us. He's our number 4 choice goalkeeper. So what we can do here, this is going to seem really bad, but we can just release him on a free. See, it doesn't even prompt me for it because I've done it for so many players. I told it to stop telling me about this. So fine, we'll release him. He's never played a match anywhere. Probably never will. So now he's not going to be upset about promises anymore. And there is a secret of how to deal with player promises. There's a lot more to it than that, of course. But as you know, because we are in magical land where there are no contracts, when you look up the player's contract details, there are no details. In fact, most of these are going to show up as being expired. So I can't give you a lot of contract advice in Football Manager right now because none of my players have contracts. How about that? Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Talk to you later. Bye.